see you.
Good to
Thank
see
you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I adore you to pieces.
I have to say, when you called Eric Adams out for wearing a Guys and Dolls-esque suit, I felt seen and attacked.
You're missing the fat tie and the pocket square.
Next time.
No, this is not Guys and Dolls. This is chic.
Great.
This is chic. This is cool, powerful director chic. I am so happy for you. Congratulations on everything with this film. It's incredible. This is based on the true story, the Whistleblower reality winner. Remind people what happened to reality.
So reality is a girl from Texas who was really smart, taught herself all these languages in high school to try to sort of, her goal was to become a linguist and to help overseas. After 9/11, she got really kind of motivated to try to help bridge the gap between, you know, us and them. And so she joined the Air Force, hoping that she could go overseas. And she ended up sort of helping with drone strikes, which is not what she had in mind, and had a crisis of conscience about it, and left the Air Force, later went to work at the NSA as a contractor, private contractor. And when she was there, she saw something on her work computer that was at odds with what was in the news. This is when people were litigating whether or not Russia had hacked the elections, and the news cycle was really consumed with that.
It feels like just yesterday, doesn't it? We're so far.
We've come such a long way.
So in the same place.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, so she was sort of watching this constant loop of the news saying there was no proof that the government knew that the Russians had hacked the election. And then on her work computer, she just, out of curiosity, took a peek at some classified documents and saw that, in fact, we did know, and this was sort of kind of just cycling around and around, and she leaked a document to The Intercept, hoping to just sort of let the public know that, in fact, they were being lied to, not to prove that the election was stolen, but just to show people that we were sort of looking in the wrong place and that we were kind of operating blindly when, in fact, the government knew more than they said they did.
Right,
so,
showing them the truth.
Expose the truth, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
And she served quite a bit of time for this crime. She was served with the longest amount of time ever for someone who leaked government secrets.
Yeah.
How long did she serve?
Yeah, she
almost 5 years.
5 years. Yeah, she ended up getting out on good behavior, and she was on house arrest and a halfway house for a while. But basically, yeah, I mean, she didn't have anything to trade. Like, she didn't have power connections. She was from a small town, and unlike a lot of people who sort of got away with actual collusion, she was just kind of nailed and like tried to lobby for her own release, but there was no mercy for her at the time. So she was martyred, really. Yeah.
It is remarkable how so many other people have, who shall remain nameless, have done far worse and aren't showing any accountability for their actions.
Yeah, sometimes they can run for president.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. I feel like only you, Susanna Fogel, could take this movie, this very like weighty, serious story, and turn it into this beautiful, heartwarming, comedic at times, coming-of-age film. It's a really beautiful, beautiful movie.
Thank you.
What was behind your approach in taking that path with that tone?
So I have to give credit to Carrie Howley, who's the journalist for New York Magazine, who wrote this like long-form piece on reality that it was really striking because it mostly focused on what a funny person reality is and how quirky she is, like her love for Futurama and Pikachu jumpsuits, which she actually wore in life and wears in the movie. You know, she's a quirky, kind of quintessentially millennial person with like a variety of interests. It's hard to pin her down to sort of one thing. Like, she loves guns and dogs and CrossFit, and you know, she's just kind of like she's such an iconoclastic person, and that really came across in the piece that Carrie wrote. And so the whole approach behind the movie, even before I came on to direct, was that let's show this person who is so relatable. I mean, she's very special, but she's also someone that could be any of us in this situation that feels so heightened and the stakes are so high. And so to me, it was like, we've seen so many whistleblower movies. They're usually about young men, very serious movies. But this is a funny person that was in a really serious situation. And that's kind of my favorite type of mashup, is really just to show a person that could be you or me, not a person who everything is always high stakes. There's always like intense violin music playing when they're making a tough moral decision. she's just a person who, you know, she listens to Fall Out Boy and she drives around, and she's not your typical person who would be in a drama like this as a person and in our movie. So
Right.
I thought that would help people sort of see how close to home all of this stuff is.
It really does. Whether you feel like you would make that decision or not, no matter whether you relate to her choice, you definitely relate to her as a human being, and you show her as this complex, really fun, funny woman. The performances are incredible in this. The actress who plays Reality is Emilia Jones. She's unbelievable. I could not picture anyone else in that role.
Yeah, she's great.
And then you have Zach Galifianakis, who's also incredible. Connie Britton. I'm curious. The one thing that I love so much about your work is that you've explored all these different genres of film. But one thing that seems to be a through line is that you love telling stories of these complicated, flawed, funny, empowered women. Is that something that you look for when you're choosing to write or direct on a project?
I try to avoid it.
You do.
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly like what appealed to me about this particular story is that it's a woman in an everyman story. The story is not about gender equality, even though the stories obviously have their place and there have been great movies about them. To me, there's, I think, like progress, or that sort of post that canon of movies as movies about women that are dealing with moral issues that usually we've seen represented through a male perspective. So yeah, I mean, I think I gravitate towards stories I feel haven't been told, and when it comes to female characters, stories that feel like they haven't been shown through a female lens. It ends up being something I'm excited about. It's not something I look for exclusively, but in this case, I thought, you know, this is a story that's so specific because of who she is, where she comes from, that she's a woman, that she's a young woman, and yet it's a story where the sort of big, serious moral issue she's grappling with is one that isn't about gender and isn't about proving that she's equal to men, which is what a lot of, I think, movies and shows, they kind of just default to that one problem that still exists widely, obviously, but
no,
we have other problems.
Say.
Yeah, I know.
We don't feel it in late night.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Not at all. No, not at all.
I just thought I would give you the exclusive on that.
Thank
Still
you.
A problem.
Thank you. Breaking story.
Yeah. Like that one.
You also spent a lot of time with Reality.
I did.
Is that true?
I did. I mean, it was my first experience trying to tell a story about a real person who's alive and there to defend themselves or get mad at me and never speak to me again if I, don't do justice to her story and her personality. At the same time, it's a fictionalized movie. So yeah, there was a lot of pressure. First, the pressure to get her to trust me enough that I could talk to her about aspects of her experience, and also just to get the details right of her life. What music did you listen to? What bad fashion choices did you make in high school that we can replicate in our movie so it feels real? But to do that, you sort of have to get close, and then once you're close and you're friends, like the terror switches to they're gonna see the movie and they're gonna feel misrepresented, and then the friendship is gonna be destroyed, and then I'll feel terrible about it.
Did she see the movie?
So she has sworn not to see any of the 3 movies that have been made about her. So we're not being singled out, but no, she has not seen the movie. I mean, basically her philosophy on all of it is she wants her story to get out there. She wants people to kind of know what she did and why, and to take action in their own lives and their own moral choices, big and small. So she's hoping that her story makes a difference that way and counts for something, but she's not into like a public-facing branded version of herself. She's sort of introverted and shy in a weird way for someone who's so bold in other ways. Right. So yeah, I mean, her perspective on all of that is she doesn't want to see the movie and fixate on the things that I got wrong and then hate me, because which I take as a great compliment.
It's a good thing. So the friendship is still intact.
The friendship is intact,
Well,
yeah.
I would like to think if she saw the movie, she would be very proud and very happy with the way that it came out. It's truly incredible. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for